right, man, let's talk about Tom Gores. Just got done washing the whip. Had to do a minor vacuum. My vacuum hard last week, pause. But yeah, let's talk about Tom Gores. And one of my boys made a good point. You know who he is when you see the video, talking about Tom Gores is the problem. And at the end of the day, what's so funny about Tom Gores is that people say he too hands off. He don't really, he's not engaged. He's too hands off. And then you hear other people say they trying to micromanage. And I'm gonna tell you something about Tom Gores. One thing that he living off of is moving to Detroit from the Palace of Auburn Hills to downtown Detroit, right? And if they win, Detroit will help, Michigan will help them get a new arena. They had their own arena, they started winning. See, a lot of people, when they moved to Detroit, got mad. Oh, the Palace was so nice, it was beautiful. And it had a lot of memories. But what y'all got to remember, it's the Detroit Pistons. And Detroit, it belongs in Detroit. The Pistons belong in Detroit. That's not up for negotiation. That's just what it is. The Pistons belong to Detroit. And he lost money moving the Pistons, parking and all that. He lost money moving the Pistons from Auburn Hill to Detroit. So, you know, people feel like, you know, fans feel like they're in debt to Tom Gores because, you know, he lost money moving the Pistons downtown. And we appreciate that. You know, real talk, we appreciate that. You know, but at the end of the day, you got to start putting the winner. Ever since he got the team, it's been atrocious. So what's going on is this. You know, with Troy Weaver, he was never allowed to have full control. And maybe that's why he was named the GM and not president of basketball operations, to tell you how dysfunctional the Pistons really were. You have to remember when, you know, Ed Stefanowski was really the GM and president of basketball operations, and he didn't want to take the role. He didn't want to be called the president of basketball operations. I don't know if it was because of alimony or he didn't want the title. That's dysfunctional right there. They hired Troy Weaver. He was never allowed to have his own coach. He was never allowed to have full autonomy and control over the roster. He was micromanaged. And once you see Tarjan Langdon's intro press conference, guess what? It was about getting everybody on the same page. They've never been on the same page with Troy Weaver, and I say that in his defense, and I've been one of his biggest detractors. They've never been on the same page. Let's keep it a bean. Let's keep it funky, like DOC said. He was forced to be with Dwayne. He was forced to be with Dwayne Casey. They micromanaged him, didn't let him get the coach he wanted, Charles Lee, who's now the head coach of the Hornets. They didn't let him get Kevin Ollie. They forced Monty Williams on him, and I can prove it. All you got to do is look in the intro press conference with Monty Williams and the Pistons. I can prove it. So at the end of the day, they just kept micromanaging him. You know? But yeah, like I said before, I was talking to Derek when, yeah, he just never, their communication was trash because the people was forced together, you know? And, you know, Arn, Ed, and Tom, Arn and, you know, probably Ed would be micromanaging Troy Weaver. They never trusted him. You know, I done been in positions like that where, you know, you were management, but then the manager bug you, or you want to do this, you know? Trying to indirectly tell you what you need to do. And you never can implement your full plan. You know? It's unfortunate. And that's why in Tarjan's, you know, intro press conference, they talked a lot about everybody being on the same court. And they talked a lot about hiring his own people, you know. So the Pistons got rid of a lot of people, bro, and they went to other places, landed on their feet. So yeah, they got rid of a lot of people. So and it was what it was, and they allowed this guy to sound like they're gonna let him have full control. And we letting him we letting him control. Turn out there. We letting him control the franchise, and it's better than 2 or 3 people having a hand on the franchise. You know, it is. So, you know, but, you know, Tom got to let people do their jobs, but also he got to be there to support. He can't just let the operation run itself. He got to show his face, make sure everything going good. You know, not be looking over his shoulders, but all the time, but just let him know you're there. You know, because, you know, he really wasn't there. You had, you know, women claiming that somebody made a pass on them and sued the organization and all that stuff. So you got to make sure you're there. You know, but for the most part, I just think he had people around who didn't allow people to do their jobs. Allow this man to do his job, give him everything he needs to do, and trust him, because, you know, Ed, if he really wanted the job and Arn really wanted the job, they could have had the job. So now y'all didn't want the job. Y'all didn't want to be the GM. Let's talk about that. They didn't want to be the GM. They did not want to be the fucking GM. Let's talk about that. They did not want to be the GM. So you didn't want to be the GM. Let these men do the job. If you didn't trust them to be the GM and trust his decision making, why you hire him? So, Tom Gores, in my opinion, you gotta let these people do him, Arn and them gotta let them do the job. You know? And if y'all gonna fail, y'all gonna fail. But you're gonna fail doing it the right way. You know, letting the president do his job. And if you didn't trust him, why you hire him? If you didn't agree with his vision, why you hire him? Because y'all simply could have just hired Charles Lee or Kevin Ollie, and that contract would have been nothing. It would have been nothing. All we know, it might have worked out. He might have won about 30 games. But, you know, I think a lot of people are upset with him with Tom. But at the end of the day, I really think it's the people that got his ear. And, you know, I tell them, hey, look here, if y'all wanted the job, y'all could have had it. Y'all didn't want the job. Let the man do the job. So, we'll see. But, ain't no reason to rush. None whatsoever. No reason to rush. So, we'll see what happens. But ain't no reason to rush at all. This man take his time, build this shit brick by brick, and do it the right way. So, but Tom, in my humble opinion, you know, I think Arn and Ed is his presence in that building. And I think they're overstepping their boundaries. That's one of the reasons nobody else wanted to come to Detroit for real. Because it's a major city still. You got an owner willing to spend a bunch of money. Right? It's a historic franchise. Right? Okay? You got a bunch of cap space. You got assets. Contrary to public belief, they got good young players. You got a clean slate. Why would not? Because people get micromanaged. So if you're not gonna give me everything I need to be successful, and you're gonna auto correct me, I'm good. I stay where I'm at. So That is what it is, man. But hey, let me know what y'all girls and guys think. I literally think Tom Gores mean well. But I think he just gotta get, you gotta let people do their job. So, and I think that's a direct shot at Ed and Aaron, in my opinion. But thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. The subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notifications, increase your chance to notifications. We go live and drop video. Financially, want to support the channel, Cash App, $CJ Good313, Venmo, CJ Good313, PayPal in the description. Find me on X, Instagram, Spotify, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. Peace.